Hey there, wild ones. Welcome or welcome back. Kat here. I hope you're having a fabulous morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I do apologize for this late upload. It should have been up on a Wednesday, and it is Friday at the time of recording this, although I don't know if this is going to come out for you on Friday or Saturday. The timing doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant because it's a timeless reading. But I did want to apologize as I did not get it out partially due to 4th of July. I hope you have the most fabulous, amazing, wonderful 4th of July. And partially just, I just didn't get it done. So I do apologize for that. But we are here and we are ready to get it done now. Again, I hope your 4th of July was fabulous. So let's go ahead and see. We're doing a love reading today. I don't know that I've done one on the channel, but if not, here we go. Okay. This is a timeless reading. Timeless meaning no matter when you come across it and it resonates with you, it is for you. So we're going to get some cards out here. We're going to see what comes through for you. Our love is not fragile. Ooh, spicy. Okay. Our love is not fragile. See, it's not going to fall over like that just did. I have to pin it up because otherwise it's too much of a glare, but our love is not fragile. So it's not going to fall over. It's not going to break apart. For some of you have been really concerned about it, maybe not saying things or feeling, for some of you feeling like you need to walk on eggshells, and it's coming through that isn't really necessary. Okay. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to say what you need to say in a kind of loving way, right? And not be afraid that things are going to fall apart. For some of you, it feels very much like the relationship may just be very new and you're like, I don't really want to say anything. I don't want to, cause any kind of rift or problems or what have you. For others of you, your relationship has gone at the test of time, right? It's been quite a long relationship, and yet there's something that feels as if maybe it's a little bit almost taboo to talk about, but Spirit's indicating, your person doesn't feel like the relationship is fragile. They feel like it's very strong, very connected, very potent, very deep, very loving, very right. And they're not concerned with, whatever it may be. They may not even know what it is, but here's the thing. You get to be yourself and true and free and speak within the relationship, within the partnership, within the love, and still know that your person has your back. So for some of you, you need to hear that, because for some of you there is a fear or a worry or a concern that there's a potential that it could rupture it or break it, and it's being indicated, no, our love is not fragile. It will still and or has the potential to stand the test of time. That's coming through again. So yeah, okay, let's see what else needs to come out here for you. What else needs to come through? Ooh, that is way too many, so we're not going to take right back. I do apologize. We had a bit of a malfunction as my tripod fell over. So we did have the cards fall on the ground. I have picked those up. I'm going to shuffle them a couple of times, and we're going to get right back into this. We're going to see what else it is that needs to come through, what else you need to hear, know, or see. As far as love goes, we're not looking for a whole stack of cards to come out. Just one would be ideal, Spirit. Just one. Okay. Again, on the ground. Jumping cards on the ground. You actually got two. So let's see. That first one I chose wrong and I regret it. Oh, is that why this is coming out, that our love is not fragile? Somebody made a choice within the partnership or within love that they regret. This doesn't mean that somebody cheated. I mean, it could, but it doesn't mean that that's exactly what it is or that's all that it is. Okay. Somebody made a choice. Maybe they made a decision without, or you made a decision without kind of having a conversation first, or communicating about it first, or made a financial investment or something. Okay. Something, a decision, a choice that didn't turn out or didn't pan out. It could have been something that was meant to be a surprise or meant to be a gift for you, or from you for them, or however this kind of comes through. But it didn't pan out. So there is some regret coming through. That might be why that is. Maybe something happened, a choice was made, and it didn't pan out, and there had been fear to talk about it or to discuss it because of a feeling that it might disconnect or cause a rupture or something within a relationship. The phone is ringing, so you might be able to hear that in the background. But kind of, right. And so there is some regret coming through. It's still being reminded for those of you that are in this situation or need to come clean or have communication or have a discussion about it, that the relationship is not, or the love is not fragile. Okay, so whatever this is, the regret, it does feel very much like it is something that will be just fine and will be worked out. Doesn't mean it's not going to take work. Doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a potential that somebody needs to kind of step up to the plate, and or something needs to be done, or course correction or something like that. That doesn't mean that at all, but it is coming through that the love is not fragile. So even though there was a choice that was made in the wrong, and there is some deep regret around it, it doesn't mean for that it has to cause a fracture or a rupture within the love or the relationship. Okay, so it really depends on how it's dealt with, and how you guys as a couple um, are able to work with it. Okay, do you even see me like that? Okay, so you see, some of you are have this potential, this feeling that your person or the other person won't see you the same, because or they feel like you might not, or you feel like they might not, however this comes through specifically within your individual circumstance or situation. Okay, for some of you also, there is a potential that you're already in relationship, or you have been in relationship, and maybe you or your person are not feeling like the other is seeing them as um as they once had. Maybe it feels like, do you still have eyes for me? Are you still interested in me? Do you still see me like that, or in any way? Are we still connected? Are we still in this partnership? Are we still in this together kind of energy? Okay. And again, it's coming through that there may be a lack of communication, right? Choices made in the wrong, some regret, that kind of thing. But it doesn't feel like it's been a deal breaker. Okay, it just doesn't. It just doesn't feel like that. So, what needs to happen, or what feels like it needs to happen here, is communication, having a conversation, sitting down, and really, really, and or creating a space, or time, or a place. This one is the one that wanted to come through, for connection again. Now, sometimes this takes a bit of romance. Sometimes this takes a bit of planning. Sometimes this takes a bit of um, really making the space and the time, okay, to be able to reconnect, to be able to have that energy of almost coming back together. And that's what's coming through with this. Okay, if you feel like they don't see you, or it feels like, or they feel like you don't see them, the thing is that we can set aside time or space to have deep, potent communication, to sit down and really have true, honest talks, and to reconnect in different ways, like within like touch, or within the bedroom for some of you, right? I know that that can be a little bit scary to talk about, or that could be a little bit taboo to talk about, but this deep reconnection is what feels like it needs to come through. It just feels like that rupture, that energy of a rift is within the relationship, and it's coming through again that it's not fragile, but there are a few things that need to be looked at, talked about, worked through. Okay, so yes, it is going to take a little bit of work, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done. Okay, and then you have making me the enemy won't change things. Oh, that's harsh. That's very interesting. Okay, so some of you have been very bitter and upset with this. Okay, this and this feel like the same energy, and this feels like very different energy. Okay, so there's a potential that there is a blame with this wrong choice that is regretted, and there's that energy of them or you feeling as if, due to this, that they're not, that somebody's not being seen the same or looked at the same way, and that somebody feels very much like they're being made out to be the bad guy or the enemy, and then it's not going to change anything, the choice that was made or the regret that was felt, or kind of that energy. Isn't that interesting? The love isn't fragile, and yet this could be a breaking point. Okay, making somebody the enemy, making me the enemy, won't change things. If that's within you saying being the me, or your person being the me, however that's coming through, it's not going to change anything. Pointing the finger or placing blame won't change whatever choice was made or whatever happened. Okay, so this is coming through with an energy. This is coming through with an energy that is a reminder that, the love isn't fragile unless you allow it to be. So this is coming through as a very strong, very potent message as far as love goes. If you let this be fragile and or broken, it can be. It's not currently that way, but if you allow it to be, it definitely can be fragile or broken or ruptured. It's interesting that those words are the words that kept coming through with it. Now, see, these are just like animal messages that Spirit had me pull out. Mystery to have on the side to potentially bring out, depending. And then Spirit was like, yes, it is. And you've got the Bobcat mystery. The Bobcat teaches you that there is true power and strength in silence and patience. Okay? Silence and patience. So blaming and making somebody else the enemy and telling people all the things, and it's not going to change anything. So being silent and patient, going inward, right? Figuring out how you feel about the situation, how you feel about the person, if you're still seeing them the same way, depending on which side of this you're on here. That is going to be what is going to help you. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but and the relationship the most. You need to communicate with each other, but first it sounds very much like you need to take your power back and figure out within yourself, within that silence and that patience of yourself, what actually this means, what you feel about it, kind of where you're at with it, and instead of going and like airing dirty laundry is what's coming through. Okay, in order to get what you want, you must be willing to plan. We talked about that. Adapt, and above all, have the patience to see your dreams manifest. So a bit of mystery needs to come through within this. Isn't that interesting? But the bobcat, or aren't bobcats, or aren't cats in general, kind of tied to fast, like speediness and fast kind of energy. So it does feel like there will be a solution coming through to this pretty quickly with that bobcat energy, but keep it a mystery at this point until you figure out what it is actually. Some people take to social media, some people call every family member and friend and tell them all the dirty deeds and all the things, and it just creates a bigger rapture or a bigger rift within, because then either you, depending on who's doing it, if you're doing it or your person's doing it, you don't really know where you stand with the family or the friends then. And I know a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't really care, but it does make a difference whether your family or your friends like somebody, and if they end up not liking you due to, or you not, or them not liking them due to kind of a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, or something, somebody making them the enemy or you the enemy, kind of out of turn or out of place or even too soon, however this turns out, right? It doesn't bode well. It doesn't create a, depending on what the choices and decisions are, what, right? It doesn't make for a very friendly or healthy environment for future relationship when that happens. So just make sure that's kind of right. Really stay silent and stay patient. Figure out what's happening, what's going on, where you're at within this before you kind of go and like air everything to other people or social media. And probably not. Probably just don't do that. Probably either way. But all right, that is what I have. I hope it resonated with you. I'll see you in the next reading.